Hi friends, Krista here. Thanks for stopping by Books and Jams. I'm so excited that you clicked on this video. It is one of my favorite videos to make every year for middle grade March. Once again, I have gathered people from across Booktube to share with you a middle grade book that they love. I've sorted them into the 5 different prompts for this year with a couple of bonuses at the end, and I just think you're gonna find a few books, at least, hopefully a few, that you really would love to read. So grab a paper and pen or a notes app on your phone or whatever you need to do to make note of these books, because there's going to be some great ones. I also hope that you check out some of these booktubers. Maybe you like the way that they talk about the book that they're recommending. Maybe you just get a good vibe from them, whatever it may be. All of the booktubers and the books that they talk about will be linked down below, and I hope that you enjoy watching.
Hello everyone, my name is Hannah from the Teachers TBR over on YouTube and on Instagram, and Krista has asked me to give you a recommendation for middle grade March, and the best one that I know is Cody by Jared Cullum. This book is perfect for the prompts of one-word title and an animal on the cover. This book is following our main character Katey, and Katey is visiting her Meemaw at her cottage in Alaska for the summer. While she's there, she's in the woods and she runs upon this big bear that is in need of help. After Katey helps him, they become the best of pals, and they spend the entire summer together. Katey even names him Cody. Well, Katey is not there to stay. She ends up going back to her home in Seattle, and this story is a story of friendship and the fact that no distance, no matter how far, can separate your friendship. I hope you all enjoy this one, and happy reading!
Hey y'all, it's Amanda from the channel Book Lover Amanda, and a book that I would like to recommend for the prompt of a one-word title is Focused by Allison Gerber. I read this last year, and this is all about a girl named Clea who is struggling with keeping up with her schoolwork and her chess team hobby and practice and everything at school. She's in 7th grade, and her thoughts are out of control. She is speaking out of turn and interrupting people and all these different things, getting distracted. She's falling behind, and she truly needs help. And so she goes to the doctor to get evaluated, and the story goes on from here. I really enjoyed reading this because when I was in 3rd grade, I was diagnosed with ADHD as well, and I just really felt seen in this. Really felt like a story of little Amanda, honestly, because all of the struggles that she was going through, I can relate. I love seeing the support from her family, and this book in general was just very heartwarming. I also like how the author took us through this process, the entire process of her ADHD diagnosis, from going to the doctor's appointments and trying to find medicine that works for her, and her support team was just so great to see in this because they were really wanting to put a plan together to help her be the most successful in school, in her chess tournaments, and all of those things. Overall, I love this, and it's a really great representation of someone with ADHD. So thank you, Krista, for asking me to film this video. I hope that you'll pick this one up this year for middle grade March.
Hey everyone, I'm Katey from Paperbacks and Ponytails, and I am going to recommend A Restart by Gordon Korman for the Wonder World title. This is about a boy named Chase, and he is pretty much the big bully in his school. And one day he ends up having an accident and falling off the roof of his house, and he can't remember anything. So he doesn't know why people are afraid of him at school, why is he friends with the bullies and the jocks and everything. And it's just a reminder that we can all have a fresh start, and just being able to change our minds and say, you know, we don't want to be this way anymore. Like, there's something wrong here. We can fix it, and hopefully, you know, ask for forgiveness. It is such a great middle grade. I love the storytelling. All of Gordon Korman's books are really great, and you should definitely check it out.
Oh. I'm Johanna. This is Marty. Woo. And this is Desi. Hello. Johanna loves reading. Me, my dog, and books. And thanks to Krista, I have been asked for my favourite middle grade for middle grade March. Well, here it is. It's Coraline. I've got a graphic novel, the original cover, and a different cover for it was the 20th anniversary cover. I love this book so much. I literally have tattoos. There's Coraline with her cat. Like, and this is one of my favourite quotes from Coraline, which is, when you're scared but you still do it anyway, that's brave. And then there's the buttons and the threads. I find this a really dark, which says a lot about parents wishing for things, thinking your world, oh, I've not even got my glasses on, look. It's strange. It carries the test of time. It literally might be middle grade, but it's a book for all ages. Coraline is someone I wanted to be as a kid. She is brave, she's determined, and she lives in a world of, well, you think is imagination, but it's actually terrifyingly scary. I will continue to get more tattoos of Coraline on me, and I will continue to reread this. Plus, who doesn't love the movie adaptation? It's phenomenal.
Hi there, I'm Leandra the TBR0, and my recommendation for middle grade March is Tracks by Christine Morel. This is a science fiction mystery genre blend that I just don't think enough people talk about it. It's a hidden gem, and it also fits 2 prompts for this year's readathon. One-word title and animal on the cover, so you do have options. I think it does a really great job of blending science fiction and mystery, and we've got 2 really strong main characters, Trax and Melly. Trax and his mother have been on the run from the company ever since he received a brain transplant that has gained him certain abilities that make it very hard for him to blend in. All he wants to do is make friends, play a sport, live a normal life, and this brain transplant is just not allowing him to do that. Meanwhile, Melly, she is a bit of an outcast in her own way. She has her own struggles with anxiety and other elements, and she wants to be a detective. So she is the sleuth, the neighborhood sleuth who just observes everyone and knows everyone's business. And I really love the blend of these 2 characters, the found friendship, and they do go on a bit of an adventure, and it ends great. So I highly recommend Tracks by Christine Morel. Have fun.
Hello everyone, my name is Bekah and my channel name is Bekah Books and Bujo. The book I'm recommending to you is Ghost by Jason Reynolds, but I actually think you should read all 4 books in this series by this author. It is called the Track series. The books are called Ghost, Bettina, Sunny, and Lou, and so they fit into the one-word title prompt that we have for this year's readathon. Each book follows the titular character, who are all members on a track team, but what I love most about these books, and what I think Jason Reynolds does so well, is that each of these characters are facing very difficult things in their lives. Whether it's absent parents, or family members struggling with addiction, or pressure from family members or friends. They're going through a lot, and Jason Reynolds just writes this so wonderfully and in a very digestible way for young readers especially. I love this series, especially Ghost and Sunny, and I would love if you would give these books a try. Happy middle grade March!
Hello friends and fellow bibliophiles, I'm Kat of Kat's Novel Adventures, and I'm excited to share my recommendation for a middle grade author's debut novel. I've chosen Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus by Dusty Bowling, which is a fantastic realistic fiction novel that I read for middle grade March last year, and I absolutely adore it. This story centers around Avon Green, a spunky 13-year-old who enjoys hanging out with her friends, playing soccer, and creating elaborate stories to tell curious kids as to why she doesn't have arms. The truth is, Avon was born with no arms. However, she doesn't allow it to define her or get in the way of her living her best life. Then she is told that she and her parents are moving to Arizona, where they're going to run a Western theme park, and she has to leave the comfort of her home, her school, and her friends. This story is full of heart, has plenty of humor, and includes a mystery. This is a story I think you would enjoy reading. Happy middle grade March and happy reading.
Hello everyone, my name is Megan. I want to start off by saying thank you so much for including me in this video. Today I'm sharing with you guys one of my many middle grade book recommendations, and I tried to make it fit as many as the prompts as possible. And if you have been to my channel before, you will already know what I'm recommending, but if not, you can find me on YouTube at Meg Reads. I read a lot of middle grade. I do a lot of recommendation videos if you want more of my recs. But for today specifically, I will be recommending Skandar and the Unicorn Thief by A.F. Stedman. This is a middle grade book that is very reminiscent of Percy Jackson, a little bit of Harry Potter, a little bit of Nevermore. If you've heard of those titles before, it is about a young boy who becomes a unicorn rider. This is the first book in a series. It is absolutely phenomenal. It is action-paced. I have not stopped raving about this book ever since I picked it up for the first time.
I highly recommend. This would fit the prompt for a debut novel, as this was the author's debut, as well as an animal on the cover, as it has a unicorn. So I highly recommend you guys check this book out, and I will be looking forward to reading all of the other recommendations. Bye guys, happy reading.
Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and my channel name is Always Booked. And first I want to say thank you to Krista, the queen of middle grade, one of the kindest faces you will see here on YouTube. Krista, you're awesome. Thank you for including me in this. But when she asked for my middle grade recommendations, I have so many in my head that I am really struggling. But for those of you who don't know me, I have 3 children, and the oldest of which is in early elementary, and we read a lot together. So a lot of the books that I read are with them. However, I do enjoy to read middle grade for myself with like the upper ends of middle grade or just older middle grade. And I love graphic novels. So my recommendation is Smaller Sister by Maggie Atkins Willis. And this is one that I read for myself about a girl who is watching her sister struggle with an eating disorder. And it causes her to question her own body and things. And then watching the recovery process, it is so emotional, so it's just so great. I really loved it. And then that one also, that could count for debut because it's her, it's like a memoir and it's her only book so far. She has another one coming out soon. But anyway, and then for an extra bonus, one that I have read that's on the younger elementary side. So I don't know if it's technically middle grade, but The Adventures of Sophie Mouse, our favorite series. It's good for like 2nd grade readers and it is so good. It's just the cutest little series and it's got animals on the cover and it is our favorite series. So cute, so quaint, such good life lessons, but also so festive. So check those out if you haven't and come over to Always Booked and I would love to see you there.
Hi, my name is Tiffany and my channel name is Beautiful Minutia, and today I wanted to share a favorite middle grade of mine. It could fit a couple of the middle grade March prompts. It was published in 2020, so it could be a book that you feel like you missed out on. It is the author's middle grade debut, though she had written some YA before that, so maybe that's fudging that prompt just a little bit. And there is an animal on the spine of this cover. So there's a couple different ways that you could end up working this in. But that book is Premeditated Myrtle by Elizabeth C. Bunce. This is the first in a series, a middle grade mystery series about a girl living in the Victorian time period. And her father is a prosecutor. So she has an unhealthy obsession with crime and murder and poison and all of those kinds of things. It kind of feels a little bit like a Flavia de Luce book, but I like Myrtle better. I like her personality better. I like her interactions with her family and her governess better. And she's got a really cool cat who is on the spine, like I said, Peony. This book has a lot of really fun things going for it. It's got a really good mystery that I did not figure out. It's got a lot of humor. And then in addition to that, it actually has a lot of footnotes, which is really, really fun. So it kind of can give some of the context for the historical period. If you don't know certain things, the footnotes are really, really fun. So some of them are educational and some of the footnotes are just really, really funny. So if you haven't picked up Premeditated Myrtle, I hope that this is one that you give a chance.
Hello, my name is Gabby. I am from the channel Gabbing About Books, both on YouTube and on Instagram. I am most active on Instagram. I read mainly every genre. I used to stick to just thrillers, but now I dabble into fantasy, cozy mystery, thrillers, romance, you name it, I probably read it, and I love it all. Here for Middle Grade March, I want to recommend a middle grade / young adult graphic novel called When Stars Are Scattered. This is written by Omar Muhammad and Victoria Jameson. This is actually a true story. This follows Omar and his younger brother Hussein, who are refugees living in a camp in Kenya. It explores their daily struggles and dreams as they navigate life without their parents and search for a better future, trying to get to the United States. A heartwarming and inspiring tale of resilience, the power of family. Hussein does have difficulties and believe he is nonverbal. I really, really liked this story, and I hope that you decide to pick it up and that you enjoy it as well.
Hey, hi, hello, I'm Heather with Pages with Postal Weight, and I'm delighted to recommend to you an awesome book for middle grade March. It is Blackbird Fly. It is Erin Intrada Kelly's debut novel, so it counts for that category. It also centers on Apple Yanko, who with her mother immigrated here to the United States when she was little. So it also qualifies for that particular prompt. And if you have to cheat or want to make your own rules here, Blackbird is an animal and it's on the cover. I don't know, but this is a great book. It really focuses in on what it means to be a real friend, how to fight back against bullying. It's rough. It's a tough one with the bullies in here, and Apple has to kind of be true to herself and see if music isn't the way to really set herself free. She's got some really good friends that help her along the way, but finding them is part of the journey. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy Middle Grade March. Bye.
Hello friends, my name is Katey and I am a children's bookseller with a particular interest in middle grade. So you can imagine my excitement when Krista asked me to participate in this wonderful collaboration video. And if you are one of the many people who loved My New Trapper Tiger by Tay Keller, this book is for you. And that book is The Glass House of Stars by Shirley Ma. In this story, we get to know a girl named Meagan who is immigrating to Australia with her family. We meet her at the very beginning of the book when she's just arrived in Australia, and she's so nervous about this big transition in her life, but she's convinced that she's already done the hard part. Hopping on the plane and traveling all the way here must be the hard part, right? But no, she soon finds that settling into a completely new culture with a whole new language, away from her community, in a new school with people she's never met before, hugely challenging. However, in the backyard of this new house that they're living in, there is this busted up, old, run-down glass house that nobody goes into, except for Meagan. And when she's there, it comes alive with magic and imagination. A couple of other interesting things to note is that this book is written in second person, and it is also loosely inspired by Shirley Ma's own personal experience moving to Australia. If you, like me, are somebody who just loves a middle grade that manages to balance the hard-hitting, really emotional aspects of life with a very whimsical, magical outlook, then I genuinely don't think you can go wrong. You will love this book. Thank you so much. Enjoy Middle Grade March and happy reading. Bye!
Hello everybody, my name is Cara and my channel is Wild Book Garden, A Bit of Earth by Karuna Riazi. This would count for the immigrant or refugee story prompt. It is a contemporary take on The Secret Garden story by Frances Hodgson Burnett. So I definitely would recommend this if you have an interest in The Secret Garden, but as I said, even if you don't or you're not familiar with it, Karuna Riazi takes elements of the original and translates them or intensifies them. We are following our main character Maria, who is self-described as like not a nice girl. She's around 12 or 13, I think, and she's very prickly, and she has lost her parents, and she's kind of gotten like bounced around to different relatives, and now at this point she's having to leave her home in Pakistan and go and stay with some family in Long Island, New York, or some friends of her parents. She has a hard time settling in because she's not used to having adults that she can depend on, and that who care about her. And I think seeing her kind of bloom, you know, as the cover says, like, and start to open up is incredibly beautiful. There's some great friendships. I think that the handling of family and grief and all of that complexity is done so well. There are also small snippets of the story that are told in verse, which I thought was very, very effective. The found family and sort of adoptive family elements are wonderful. I love it so much, so it is my pick for the recommendations.
Hey guys, I'm Chantel from Chantel Reads All Day. Unfortunately, I don't always get to read all day, but I would like to sometimes. So for Middle Grade March, I wanted to recommend a book that I loved last year that also fulfills one of the prompts for this year, and this one would make a good book for the refugee prompt, and that is The Lost Year by Catherine Marsh. This one is a dual timeline story. We modern day are set with a boy named Matthew. It takes place during COVID. He isn't allowed to see anyone because his great-grandmother lives with him and his mother, and she's quite elderly. And then in the 1930s, we are in Ukraine and New York, where we follow 3 cousins during the Ukrainian famine, and 2 of them are in Ukraine during the famine. One is in New York trying to help her cousins get to New York. This book was laugh out loud funny in parts and tears streaming down the face sad in parts. It is the perfect combination. I read this with my kids. We fell in love with the story, so I highly recommend it.
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle. You can find me on Booktube and Bookstagram at Bookcara. Krista, thank you so much for asking me to be a part of this year's Middle Grade March collaboration video. I am truly, truly honored. So for the prompt of a book with an animal on the cover, I am going to recommend The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise by Dan Gemeinhart. This book does feature a cat on the cover. This is Coyote's cat, Ivan, whom she has named after her favorite book, The One and Only Ivan. This story follows 12-year-old Coyote. 5 years ago, her mom and her 2 sisters died tragically in a car accident. And since then, Coyote and her dad, Rodeo, have been aimlessly traveling the country in an unspoken attempt to avoid their grief. One day, Coyote gets a phone call from her grandmother, and after that phone call, she hatches a plan to get from Florida to Washington State without telling her dad, Rodeo, exactly where she wants to go and why she wants to go there. Along the way, they pick up several traveling companions who each have a story of their own to tell. I thought this book was absolute perfection. I cried in a good way. And when I got to the last few pages, I hesitated because I just did not want this story to end. So I hope you will pick up The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise for a book with an animal on the cover this middle grade March. Happy reading, everyone.
Hi, I'm Jack from Spread Book Joy. My recommendation is The Midnight Guardians by Ross Montgomery. It's a wonderful book. It's a blend of British pagan folklore and fantasy with historical fiction set in World War II. This boy Cole is an evacuee and he's in the countryside, and he is visited by his imaginary friends that he had when he was younger, who have come back to life and come from the spirit world to warn him that the Midwinter King, who is the traditional sort of British kind of figure of darkness and winter, he's being fed by all the evil that's happening in the world, all the atrocities that are being caused by the war. And they come to warn Cole that there's going to be a huge raid on London in 6 days' time, and they go to try and save his sister, who's still there in London working as a dispatch rider with the air raid wardens. Now, Cole is a wonderful character. The Midnight Guardians are gorgeous representations of different aspects of his personality. So as the book goes on, we discover how they came about and how Cole created them in his imagination. They also meet a wonderful girl called Ruth who joins them on the way. Ruth is a Jewish German child who was evacuated from Germany, part of the Kindertransport, and she wants to get to London to see if her parents have made it out of Germany alive. I can't recommend this book highly enough. It does a really clever job of blending both the fantastical elements with the real life elements. Ross Montgomery's writing is atmospheric and chilling at times, but very humorous and full of heart. Ultimately, it's a great book, a book about hope, and it's one of my favourites. So I hope if you do pick it up, you enjoy it, and happy middle grade March.
Hi everyone, my name is Amy. My channel is Amy's Bookish Life, and the book that I want to recommend is Unplugged by Gordon Korman. Gordon Korman is one of my favorite middle grade authors because I love how he writes characters. Unplugged is about Jet, who gets himself into a big bit of trouble, and he is sent by his dad, who is kind of a Steve Jobs-esque tycoon, to the Oasis. And at the Oasis, he's going to commune with nature and not use technology, which he thinks is a disaster. As he's there, he realizes something isn't quite right with the Oasis and how it's run, and everybody has secrets. I really love how intriguing the storyline is, and I absolutely recommend Unplugged. This will work for the animal on the cover and also a one-word title. Enjoy!
Hi everyone, my name is Oceana. My channel is Oceana Gotta Read 'Em All, and I am very excited to share with you a middle grade recommendation. And this one is going to fill the prompt for animal on the cover, and it is The Unicorns of Valinor, The Road to Valinor by Mary Stanton. So the whole series is called Unicorns of Valinor, And this is such a nostalgic series for me. I read this as a child and I remember just loving it. For this one in particular, it's fun because there's kind of parallel universes happening where this princess and her unicorn, they are sent into our world for safety because bad things are happening in Valinor. And in the process, they end up losing their memories and the unicorn loses his horn. So in our world, he's just a normal horse and she's just a person, and they don't know who they are, but they feel a connection with each other, so they know something is there. And you follow them figuring out who they are. They start slowly getting the memories back and then finding out what's going on in Valinor and how to help. And it is a full series, so it is just very fun, very whimsical, and I just remember loving it. I thought the writing was good, and I think this is good for any age. I just had to recommend this one because I have such good memories with it, so hopefully you pick it up.
Hey everyone, it's Jen from Bookish Blonde. So middle grade March is around the corner and I'm here today to suggest a book for the prompt book with an animal on the cover. So last year for middle grade March was my 3rd year and I read The Remarkable Journey of Coyote Sunrise by Dan Geimenhardt and I quickly fell in love. It is so good. I have recommended this book so many times. In this book you are going to get a hippie dad, a spirited daughter, and they are going to go embark on a road trip. This road trip is a way for them to cope, also avoid a tragic loss that they share, and you are going to get themes of family. You're going to get an awesome relationship between a father and daughter, which I really enjoyed. This book made me laugh. This made me cry. I could not put it down. I was flipping through the pages and I didn't want it to end. You're going to get themes of loss and grief, which can be heavy, but it is such a good book. It's so well written. The prose in here is beautiful. Pulled on my heartstrings, and I hope you guys pick it up. Consider it for your prompts for this year. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm Robin from Robin Reads, and a middle grade book that I have absolutely loved is Aru Shah and the End of Time, the first in the Pandava series by Roshani Chakshi. This is about 12-year-old Aru who embellishes sometimes, maybe lies, to her classmates to get them to like her and to just generally fit in. And one day, some of her classmates come to the Museum of Ancient Indian Arts and Culture, where she lives with her mom, who's a curator there, to try to catch her in a lie. And Aru wants to prove to them that she was in fact not lying about the lamp of Bharata being cursed. And so in order to prove to them that she's not lying, she lights a lamp, even though she's definitely not supposed to do that. And in doing so, she unleashes the sleeper demon, whose job it is to awaken the god of destruction. But this sets Aru up on a journey she never expected to go on to save all that is important to her. And this is a great, fun, fast-paced story that shows Aru becoming comfortable with who she really is, what it's like to make friendships with people that are really going to show up for you and stick by your side, and highlights Hindu mythology with a cast of characters that are both funny and lovable. This works for animal on the cover, and it also works for a book that you missed out on, because I promise you, this is a book that you do not want to miss out on again.
Hello, my name is Gwen. My channel is Gwendolyn Kensinger, and today I want to recommend A Game of Fox and Squirrels by Jen Reese. I read this last year and absolutely fell in love with this emotional story about these two sisters that had something happen in their family, and now they are being sent off to live with their aunt who lives in rural Oregon. And there her aunt gives her this card game called A Game of Fox and Squirrels, and through that we find out what actually happened with the family, and it has a lot to do with abuse and gaslighting, and it's very sad, it's very emotional, but I just love how the author used the game to illustrate things with such a deep, hard topic for a middle grade audience. It also has wonderful illustrations inside, and it also has fun like little game inserts to the actual game. And we do get a fox named Ashander, and through Ashander's game, we kind of see the manipulation that Samantha and her sister Caitlin dealt with. And I was sobbing by the end of this. It was such a powerful story. So if you're looking for something that you may have missed out on, I highly suggest A Game of Fox and Squirrels by Jen Reese.
Hi everyone, my name is Keisha and I'm from the channel A Book Like You. And for Middle Grade March, I wanted to recommend to you a book that I don't want you to miss out on. This was a book that came out in 2023 and it is called The Nightmare House by Sarah Allen. This is my new favorite middle grade book of all time, and I really feel like it's because of the faith tie-ins in this story. This book really speaks to my soul. I love all of the different symbolism in this book, but let me tell you what this one is about. This story follows a girl named Penny Hope, and one night Penny kind of makes a deal with the monster under her bed and becomes friends with him. But what she doesn't realize is that when she befriends this monster, it invites this creature into her life called the Fear Maker. And the Fear Maker instills a lot of anxiety in her life. She also starts to have nightmares that include these blank-eyed people. But then it seems like these nightmares are seeping into her real life because she starts seeing blank-eyed people in every day. And I do feel like that kind of symbolizes people that have anxiety or depression, or that are just bogged down by mental health things maybe. And I really like that symbolism in the story, but also there is hope in this story because she also visits a garden, and while she's in the garden, she can't feel anxiety or feel the Fear Maker or hear him talking to her there. There is also a gardener in the story that I really feel symbolizes God in our lives. And there's so much hope. I mean, her name is Penny Hope, so there is hope on the other side of this. But I feel like it's a really great representation of anxiety as well, and how sometimes we can let the enemy get a foothold in our lives, and how we can listen to the voice of the enemy and hear his lies and believe them, even though those are not true things. And it just tells us how we can overcome these things, how we can spend time with the Lord and listen to him and see the little joys in life as well. There are sunflowers scattered throughout this book, which for me are my favorite flowers, and they symbolize joy and choosing Jesus. So I love that there are faith tie-ins in this, and maybe you will as well.
Hello everybody, my name is Marty and I am at Let's Talk About Books Baby on YouTube, Instagram, and on TikTok. And today I'm going to talk about one of my favorite middle grade books that I feel like I missed out on. When I was a kid, I was very pretentious as a reader, and because I could read above grade level, I oftentimes did. And that means I missed out on a lot of really kind of classic middle grade books. And so I read this series the first time as an adult, but that did not stop me from making it my entire personality. And that is, of course, Percy Jackson. The first book is The Lightning Thief, and this book is all about Percy. He is 12 years old, and he finds out that he is a demigod, or one of his parents is a Greek god. And so he goes to camp, meets a lot of other demigods, and goes on shenanigans and quests and gets in all kinds of trouble, enough trouble to last through 5 whole books plus a few spin-off series. But there's something just so incredibly earnest about Percy. He is just truly good. A lot of the times in book series, main characters are never my favorite character. I always like the side characters better, but I can 100% say that Percy is my favorite in all of these books. The new Disney show is amazing. I watched it. I kind of want to rewatch it. And I am here to say that even if you did not read these as a kid, you can still read them as an adult and still kind of have all those weird nostalgic feelings in your heart about them. I don't know what kind of magic that is. And if you have read them, this is your sign to read them again.
Hi, I'm Sarah Freshly from the channel Freshly Read Books, here to tell you about one of my favorite middle grade books. Also, this can work for the animal on the cover, and I'm willing to bet if you haven't read it already, also one you've missed out on. This is The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime by Mark Haddon. It follows Christopher John Francis Boone, who is a 15-year-old boy who's described as being a mathematician with behavioral difficulties. While it's never really said what he has in in the book is blurbed that he has Asperger's, which is of course not a term that we use anymore. And basically the story kicks off with Christopher finding his neighbor's dog dead in their yard. And while mourning over the dog, the neighbor comes out and she's very upset to see Christopher there. She thinks that maybe he had something to like do with it, and he has kind of a hard time communicating what's going on. So he ends up deciding to investigate the death of this dog himself. And it kind of sends him on this adventure that is a really big deal for him. And you can feel like the weight of the whole thing throughout the story. It's so good. I highly, highly recommend it if you haven't read it already.
Hello, my name is Patrice, and I am relatively new to BookTube. The name of my channel is 2 Minutes on Books. And I'm happy to say that I will be participating in Middle Grade March. And I have a book recommendation for you, and I think you will really enjoy this book. It is Clean Getaway by Nick Stone. This young man right here, his nickname is Scoob, and he has been getting into trouble at school, so he is on lockdown at home. And so his grandmother, which he affectionately calls G-Ma, decides to take him on an adventure in her little camper RV. And so they take off, and he's really getting an education because G-Ma is taking him on these Black history cultural stops, and he's really learning a lot about his Black history. But the thing is, will G-Ma get in trouble too? You just have to read the book to find out all about their adventures. I highly recommend it.
Hi everyone, my name is Sarah. My channel name is Sarah's Nightstand, and I am here to give you a recommendation for a middle grade book for Middle Grade March. My recommendation is going to be for the fantasy series fans here. If you liked Harry Potter, if you liked Nevermore, I highly recommend Kelsey and the Academy for the Unbreakable Arts by Erica Lewis. This is the first book in a middle grade fantasy series, and I definitely compare it to Harry Potter because it has a young girl named Kelsey who is an orphan, and she is magically transported to this brand new world that she did not know that existed, that has magic. And she is going to the school, and she has kind of a reputation because of her family that she never even knew about and didn't know that any of this stuff existed. But she's a little bit of a chosen one, I would say, not quite as prominent as Harry Potter was, but it's definitely there, and a lot of expectations on her. But she had no idea that any of this stuff existed. There's definitely a found family element in here. There's enemies in here. She's learning a lot about her family in here, along with the world and all that stuff. I was very, very entertained when I read this first book, and I'm definitely going to read the rest of the series. There are currently 2 books out right now, so I do plan to read number 2 during Middle Grade March this year as well. And then book number 3 is slated to come out later this year. So I'm very excited for this middle grade fantasy series that I had a really good time with the first one. And I hope that if you are a fan of middle grade fantasy, that you will pick this one up as well.
Hi, it's Desi from Desi Reads, and my recommendation for Middle Grade March is going to be Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Garbenstein. And I think it's the perfect mix of Willy Wonka meets Chutes and Ladders with so many twists and turns, and it's the perfect page turner for Middle Grade March.
Hello, I'm Dani from Dani Dabbles, and I would like to recommend to you guys The Ogress and the Orphans by Kelly Barnhill. This is a fantasy middle grade that is set in the Stone in the Glen, which is a village that is originally thought to be an amazing place to live but has since fallen on hard times. They've had flooding, fires, they've lost their precious library, and they've started to lose faith in their community and trust in their community. Within this village, you have an orphanage with some children and 2 lovely individuals that are trying to take care of the children as best they can. And then you also have an ogress who is living at the edge of town and a little bit separated from the town due to just some cultural differences between the villagers and the ogress. And something happens to bring suspicion onto the ogress and fear within their community. However, the orphans at the orphanage, with their childlike fearlessness and want for community and love, they refuse to believe what they're being told and decide to figure out what the real story is.
I really enjoyed this book. I think it's so sweet. I love Kelly Barnhill's writing. If you guys haven't picked up anything by this author, I would highly recommend.
Hi, I'm Summer from the channel Seasons Readings, and my favorite middle grade book is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking by T. Kingfisher. I would consider this book to be cozy fantasy, which is one of my favorite genres. In the world where this book is set, there's magic. There are some people that have stronger magic, but the majority of people have smaller magic. And at times it's very oddly specific. In Mona's case, she has the ability to manipulate bread. She's living with her aunt and uncle who own a bakery, so she spends a lot of time there. She can help the bread in the bakery rise faster because of her magic. She can stop it from burning. She can also animate the gingerbread men to dance. And there's a very temperamental sourdough starter living in the basement. One morning when Mona goes into the bakery to start opening up for the day, she discovers a dead body, so she gets wrapped up into that whole mystery. One of my favorite parts of this book was the writing style. It's very fantastical and quirky and descriptive. I loved the messaging in this book that just because you're young or you're maybe not the most powerful, it doesn't mean that you can't do big things or be creative with the power that you do have. This one will make you laugh, it will make you cry. It's just such a good, heartwarming hug of a book. I really hope that you pick this one up during Middle Grade March.
Thank you so much for watching all of these lovely booktubers share their recommendations with you. I'm so excited for Middle Grade March this year. I hope that you're even more excited now, and maybe you have a couple books that you added to your list. I hope so. I would love to chat with you down in the comments below. Who's a new booktuber that you saw in here that you're going to go check out? What books got mentioned today that you're now very interested in reading? What books maybe were already on your radar? I would love to hear that, or anything else that you want to talk about down in the comments below. I love talking with you down there, and let's have a wonderful Middle Grade March. Happy reading, everyone.